Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the Comforter Storyteller, and with me I have my husband
Papa K on the beat.
Chiki together we are the cadets. Yeah. Once you see him on this channel, you know what we're talking about, right? So this is a family video, and we want to address one very important part of marriage and family life. And this video is for you. Even if you're unmarried, you can still learn one or two things. So stick with us till the end of this video, and I'm sure that you're going to learn, everything you need to learn from this video. Thank you so much. Okay, if are we here now, guys? Whenever I think I've been repeating this on this channel. Whenever Papa K comes to this channel, it makes me laugh that we almost forget the reason why we are here. Okay, so today we are having another honest marriage conversation, right? So and today's topic is about house chores. Chores.
You got the secrets.
Chores in the house, chores in the home. Two things I want to mention. I think I've mentioned one of them in previous videos, but I feel the need to address it now. Is that first, these discussions should be had earlier in the relationship, right? It will be hard if you guys are already married and you are now trying to enforce these discussions or these principles. To be hard because it's possible, right? For instance, if you guys are already married, you can still do it if you guys can come to the same level of understanding, right? But it's better
and it's easier to arrive at a compromise at courtship. Because at least you can weigh your pros and cons,
and then you know what you are in for.
You know what you are in for. Because if you don't discuss some of these things, by the time you enter, these are the first things that will start hitting you hard. First, second, third week of marriage, and you're beginning to wonder
is this person not going to do anything in this house? How can it be jumping out?
So when the love is still shocking both of you, it's better to
love always stop shocking. There is always love.
At least from the beginning, before the marriage, before the wedding.
Yeah. So have the discussions earlier in your courtship so that everybody can come to the same page of understanding. And then secondly, we are not a prototype, right? We are not trying to impose upon you what you should do. What works for us should work for you if they are built on kingdom principles, and that's why we are sharing, right? But then the wisdom is to adjust it and align it to what suits your family, right? Because our own situation, for instance, maybe your husband or your spouse works from home or works at the office. You have to suit everything that we are saying to align with your own current situation. I hope those two things are already very, very clear. Yeah, marriage and house chores, right? Yes. So what's the first thing to think about when you are thinking about house chores? What comes to mind? Like we mentioned, should we seek?
The wife must always wash plates. The husband must always dress up and go to work and give all the things to the wife to do. It's not like that in this country.
Oh Lord, I thought I wanted to say cut. Let me ask again.
And it's never supposed to be like that in a Christian home. All right, most times we've had that belief system and understanding that okay, the wife is almost like the slave of it's almost like the slave of the family, and the wife is growing leaner through house chores, and all that the man does is just go to work and bring money home and give the money to the wife. The wife would do everything, and that's, in fact, house chores, in a way, I would say house chores foster the bond in the home. When you do the work together, it strengthens the bond. So that's one thing I would like you to
mention. Okay, for me, I think like we should seek, like we mentioned earlier, that in courtship as early as possible, seek your spouse's opinion. For instance, the person is still if you what do you think about house chores? You'll be very shocked to hear some people be like, never, I will never. I believe that my responsibility is to provide, and after providing, take care of everything. So you need to know what their mindset is, right? Bro, what do you think about this?
In fact, embedded in this folklore, this song, daddy in the parlor watching film children in the garden, mommy in the kitchen cooking rice. So daddy just sits down
And
and
then
expects to
everybody
be
comes
served.
to serve
And
them.
everybody, the children, the wife, they are running all up and down. It's just a system that has been built in us by previous generation, which should also be corrected. Because you may come from a family whereby I'm the firstborn and then I don't do anything in the house.
Your siblings
Especially
are
the
always
guy.
there.
The guy that is the firstborn is the one just commanding and the siblings are always there. In another situation, is the firstborn that does all the chores. For instance, me, in fact, the chores were actually evenly divided at my own end. So chores were not an issue. But in a family whereby it's either the firstborn is a guy and the firstborn is always seated doing nothing, or perhaps
Chama, the emperor.
or perhaps the lastborn is a girl and all the lastborn is just being sent by the first, the second, the third,
Doing
and
everything.
she racks her brain trying to do all the chores for the family. So we also need to put that in place to understand that, okay, sometimes your position in the family affects your outlook on house chores. So you have to renew that understanding. You have to refresh that understanding.
So that you can be the best in your new family, because each one of us are coming from different environments,
different background,
and yes, background, like you say. So, and for instance, in my own house, I did not grow up knowing that anybody should be doing anything. Everybody used to do everything. In fact, daddy used to wash plates. It was that way because I hated washing plates growing up. So whenever they pack plates for me outside, I would be crying. I'm like, they will come and be adding more. So I was very irritated. At some point, my mommy shared it. She said, "Oh, this person should sweep, this person should wash plate." It didn't solve anything. So daddy used to help me then because I will cry, weeping, oh, sincere weeping. So our background has a way of affecting our outlook towards situations, even in the new home you are trying to build or that you are already building. So please seek their opinion. Ask your husband to be or your wife to be, what do you think about this thing? And if you see that you are the kind that has a mindset that everything should be on the wife or everything should be on the husband, either ways, you need to renew your mind to understand that both of you are here together with the same promise. And you don't want your wife looking so old because she has always been in the kitchen all her life,
doing house chores, yeah.
Especially cooking. Now, for me, I feel like it is not all men that can cook excellently like women. There are chefs that are men.
They're not going to cook agbo with beans.
But then yes, but even though you cannot cook excellently, you should be able to cook at least. Because cooking is like a survival skill. Everybody, both man and woman, how have you been surviving before you marry? Do you get? You should be able to cook something at least, even if it's like that. Should I expose you?
Remember 2020, I went to cook bitter leaf soup. Oh
my husband, I don't even know why. You could not cook okra.
No, it's not okra, it was bitter leaf.
I said you could not cook okra. Okra is easy. For real is easy. Bitter leaf for that.
I said, let me try my hand.
You did not try.
I watched the thing. I watched the bitter leaf now, understanding that okay, I used to do it at home. I watched the bitter leaf. The thing was looking nice. By the time I started eating it, oh Lord, it wasn't bitter leaf soup, it was bitter soup. Honestly.
Okay, so basically in cooking, everybody should at least know how to do something. Your wife might be the excellent cook. For me, I cook and I enjoy it. Like, I don't have to be forced. It's something I love
just
to
cook for survival.
So basically, have somebody that understands that these chores are not gender based, and that takes me to my next point, my next question. Do you think chores are gender based? Do you think a man should only sweep? You know, sometimes some men also agree to do chores, but they don't agree to do all chores. For instance, I can't wash plate. How can I be washing plate as a man of the family? Like I said, my dad used to wash plate, and it didn't reduce our respect for him or my mommy's respect. But in some settings, some men feel like, oh, I can't. So are chores gender based? Should cooking only be done by the woman, or what do you think?
Okay, I would say this in two perspectives. First, chores are not gender based. In fact, I remember vividly this was one of the things that even brought me close to my mom. Like, we became a little bit closer. I started learning how to grind pepper right from much younger, 10 years,
Same
Even
here, I was
before then.
pounding yam
I
at
was
10.
grinding pepper with this stone. I was already, even people walking about will look at me grinding pepper and they'll be giving me thumbs up like, at this your age, a man, a boy that is blended. So chores are not gender based, and as I said earlier, they come from your background. If my mom had not put me through those chores, and because I was the firstborn, my sister, who was the only girl in the family, was much younger, so I took the responsibility of both the lady and the man. So I can do almost every job.
I was busy washing plate and pounding.
I can do almost every job. So, and then in the marriage, you are supposed to complement each other. You know, so if the man can do the chores, why not go ahead and do it? But now the second part to it is, I've observed that sometimes when the man begins to do the chores, the woman, in fact, I heard this from a pastor's wife. The woman sometimes begin to have that expectation that yes, it's now your thing, and then they sort of take it for granted.
Whose thing is
now? No, it's a joint thing. Okay. It's a joint thing, but
so everybody should sustain that joint thing.
But that I do it does not mean that okay. Yeah,
I'm for the rest of your life.
At least you are the one. But because I can do it, I should hone into that responsibility that since I can do it better, let me put in that strength.
Okay, yeah.
For the family.
So you're saying basically identifying each other's strength.
Yes.
And then knowing that, oh, my wife can cook excellently. Me, I cannot cook so much. Let me assist with washing. For instance, when we are cooking now, and it's not forming or faking it, it a grind pepper. He will grind the pepper, I will cook the soup.
So if I cook soup for you, you only eat it to survive. Your stomach will be filled.
But you have not died.
But your tongue.
You have been alive. Which means that you've been cooking and you have been surviving. Yes.
But I cook well too.
What? You cook still.
And I boil water.
And you can make eba.
Yes,
you will make for the whole world.
I can make eba. It's just this thing I can.
It should not be something that is gender based. For me, I feel like chores should not be something that is gender based, something that we have to say, oh, daddy, wow, initially, just like that example you give, that yes, there's a possibility of taking it for granted, but everybody should understand that we are in this together, right? If that mindset is sustained, you would want to sentence your wife or your husband, so to say, to one particular chore and then maybe begin to take them for granted. If we both are on the same page, like that's why we said in the beginning that seek their opinion, know what they think, right? And what do you think about this, so that you can be sure that yes, we are both on the same page. And when it comes to house chores, everybody can, be aligned with how it runs in their own home, right? So, and there's no comparison, nothing like, oh, in my house
I watch today.
no, not even in the family. I mean, like comparison to your parents' family and be like, in my house, my daddy never does anything.
You're starting a new home, so it's starting on new principles.
Yes.
So you are not supposed to be comparing with previous. You don't have to make the mistakes of previous generation.
And then most times yes. Most times we see that the generation that birthed us, they had their own good, and then we see some things that we don't really agree with, because we know that we can do better in this area. So don't always feel like, oh, my dad used to do house chores, and growing up that was the idea I had of a man. I didn't even think that there were some people that did not used to do house chores. I felt like it was normal for you to help in your family. Daddy used to cook, not that it was his job, but then in fact he still used to hit the right spot. So we always felt like, let daddy cook still. My mom cooks too, she was a caterer, so it was just easy because everybody had that understanding that we want to make this home work. So whatever it takes, your strength, my strength, we bring it together, and then it makes everything work. So we agree that. You want to say something?
Yes, and then if there is too much hula baloo on, you must do this, you must do that. Cuckoo buy machine
that can do everything.
That the thing. For instance,
but even with machine, you have to put it manually now. So one person will still put it.
If you're having, for instance, now maybe both of us we find it difficult to wash clothes. Buy machine. Put money together. Buy machine.
Machine should even be normal. Like, but even with the machine, somebody will put it inside. Dishwasher, Somebody that will put it
I
inside.
need it to be easy. Oh
Okay,
my
so
God.
basically we agree that chores are not gender based. We agree that you should have an understanding of the peculiarity of your situation. For instance, your working timing and then what time they have available. Then I think like you should ask for help. Most women, and now I'm speaking to the women, they don't ask for help. They take everything to themselves. I think like what we heard yesterday. That women have this capacity to want to take care of everything, and then you are hurting, you are already getting weak, you are still doing everything. There's no champion for who suffers best.
You are hurting yourself. You are beginning to raise unnecessary expectations. Your partner does not understand your expectation, and you're not communicating it, but you're just doing it, and then
ask for help.
Maybe later you're now venting out the anger. I'm doing this. You are not. You should communicate your need. Of course, communicate your need. Babe, please, I need you to help me do this. The babe will understand that. Yes.
If it's really a babe.
Understand that, yes, my wife is saying this from a perspective of need. That of course she does it, but for her to be asking you to assist in doing it, then.
And I feel like if we love ourselves genuinely, if spouses love themselves genuinely, you will feel people's pain even without them totally communicating. That you're married to somebody that likes to do things does not mean that you cannot sense
you now
that
sit down and
this woman has been like, even you are coming back from work, you are being like, you know, some women are housewives and it's a full-time job. I tell you, especially with kids.
Their husbands even pay them.
It's a full-time job, because some husbands are coming back from work and they feel like, you have been home all day. Excuse me, you don't even.
Honestly, sometimes being home all day doesn't mean that you're sitting down all day.
You are working at the same time. And in these days now, women can do things online and everything. So I feel like everybody should understand the peculiarity of their situation, and we should truly be in love. When you love your partner, there's this compassion, the kindness that comes with it. You come back, I know you are tired from work, you have dinner, and then washing the plates does not remove from your manliness. It doesn't, that you now pack it up there and then wait for the woman again. The next morning she has woken up, she's taking care of kids, she's doing it. Before you know, she will, and you want her to be looking fresh. How? So please,
you shouldn't be letting one wear away while doing all the house chores and bearing all the responsibilities.
And house chores are truly chores.
They
will sap your energy. So I pray God helps us. So they are not gender rules. Then the second question is that should we then leave it to chance? Like in the morning, anybody that likes sweep, anybody that likes wash plates. There's no, because you know, if you will, nobody's attached to responsibility. Should we leave it? So should couples operate a free flow, like whatever goes, or should they have a prescribed? It's just like appointing roles and responsibility. So what do you think works best?
Okay, I'll just put up an opinion. Now, one, we are mature adults and we should see needs, but the way we see needs differ. For me, for instance, I like everywhere being spick and span. So I may see that you need to put this in place, put that in place. But another person might not even see that. I need to focus on something at hand now, or so the way we see needs differ, and based on our perspective or what the house chore needs might be, it might put the weight of house chores on one person than on the other.
Maybe this person is a very clean person that likes to do things, and he or she keeps doing one thing all the time. So you feel like he should not be free flowing.
Now, it's partial, sort of. Now, it should be free flowing, and at the same time, you should also understand that this is based on previous conversation. You should know that this is my strength, so I'll major on this. So I don't really expect so much from my partner as regards this aspect. And then this is my partner's strength. She'll major on that. So if she is not doing it now, and then I could help her, or I could even lovingly call her to others. I'm fine. I'm going to assist us with this thing. You get? So that's one way to help, because if you just say let it be free flow, everybody is busy, and then this 9 to 5 life too, people will just
The house will be
The
stinking.
house will not even be looking okay. All right. And then if we say, okay, let's apportion responsibility.
Yeah.
We are
Bro,
not
you must
abroad.
But like my husband, he must always wash plate. You are the one sweeping.
So
Me, I will wash toilet. Me, I will do
in fact, we will lose that love will not even be there, because if I'm always coming to meet you and say, oh yeah, go and wash the toilet. The toilet is dirty. Tomorrow, wash the toilet. And even if I will not even have that sense of responsibility, because I can use the toilet anyhow.
At least
Believing that I need a washer. You get, so it should be a little of both sides. We both understand our responsibilities, and then at the same time we know our strengths, and we know that okay, this person is better at doing this, that person is better at doing that. Okay, help ourselves. But however, you know what works for you. But the most important thing is, before marriage, settle the matter. And even if you have entered the thing already, you can still
communicate about
with understanding. Yeah. And then another thing is the place of sacrifice. You know, marriage involves a lot of sacrifice. So, you know, this person is not doing this particular job. The thing will choke you for a body like, how is this person not? You can communicate that need by doing that thing.
Hey, no, it entered me and I'm sincere.
Anyways, you can communicate that need by doing that thing.
And then the person sees you, and then
if the person sees you doing it on and on, and that thing, it can't be done by carnal effort. It's not done in the flesh. Marriage is a completely spiritual work. So you have to tighten your seatbelt. You will discover that years after, it might not be months, it might be years, 2, 3, 5 years after, you just come home and discover that this thing I'm always doing is already done. Who did it? My partner.
You have been able to. I think
you are bit by bit. You are drawing that person, because you can't keep seeing something and not become what you see. You get. You are daily formed by what you see. You are daily formed by what.
Preach to me, Pastor K.
Oh Lord. You are daily formed by what you see.
Yeah.
So if I see you, in fact, I can cook better now, because at least I used to see those beans. They used to be Holy Ghosted. So the last beans I cooked, in fact,
you were
like, let me tell you how many cups I took, and I finished it on this post. Sorry. So true. You are, the more you know,
you are flexible. You are teachable.
We are flexible. We are human, so we adapt. We adapt. We adapt naturally. Even the Orikunkun, you know, if you are showing stubbornness and you think that you are just trying to pepper the other person, you will discover that your partner will start getting stubborn, because the person is looking at you. You are the closest person to your spouse, so the person is looking at you. You are, I think you've told me some time ago that there were some things I was doing that you discover yourself doing and say, no, I don't want to do this again now. So somehow it works that way.
We affect one another.
Yeah, we affect one another. So there's that place of sacrifice. If you see that you've been communicating, babe, help me with this particular thing now, or assist with this job, and this person is not doing it, you go ahead and do it. Make it your duty. But it takes sacrifice. It takes the help of the Holy Spirit. Sometimes it takes prayers. You go ahead and do it. Over time, you discover the person. I've seen one with people. Let's keep that one quiet. I decided to just let it be. Keep doing it.
Yeah,
and over time, you started doing it, but you never get to that 100%. But that's how it works. That's how it works.
Wow, that's such a huge one. Wow. So for me, you've said it all. In fact, I don't want to say anything anymore, because you preached to us. We receive it, right? So we receive the word meekness. For me, I feel like, just like you have said, there should be no rigid, oh, you must do this, you must do that. I only believe that love is kind. And kindness overrules every other thing. Like, if you come back and you know that, I was telling my sister that came around, I was telling her that you are coming from church, you know it's a whole day, and I was busy baking, and I was like, what will I cook now? You know, it's just normal, because I love you, I care about you, and I shouldn't be thinking that, and when it comes to figure out whatever, and it doesn't come to me as a choice. It just comes to me as this person, I care about this person. You get the same way as a man. The other day I was walking and I was extremely tired. I don't even go and sleep. Before I came back, I met a very neat kitchen. You've washed everywhere. You've grind. You blinded the perfect. It's just kindness. It's just being kind to your partner. It's just knowing that I don't want to use this person as if they are chalk and chalkboard until they melt completely. You're not like, why are you looking so old?
One of the signs that the couple is not aligning, the more they grow, the more they grow apart from each other. And how do I mean? You start looking older than me.
Instead of looking like
instead of us coming at par. In fact, we'll start looking, the more they love, we'll start looking like almost the same age, like the same level. It will not look like you are brothers and sisters, you are siblings of the same age, or perhaps twins. But if they have this house chores is wearing this person off, this person will be looking more handsome, more beautiful. This person will be looking more haggard. It's only a sign that
something
there is an imbalance somewhere. And it might not just be only house chores, but based on this video, we are talking about house chores. That's a critical part. And lastly, I'll say love is just like water. It permeates anywhere. So if it cannot permeate house chores, then what God doesn't want to permeate? Love is like water. It can permeate anywhere. No matter how blocked this brick is, if water continues falling on this place, it will permeate through this wall and come out. So if your love cannot permeate through the wall of house chores, then your love is not strong enough.
So let your love be revealed, and you can even bond, like you said earlier. You can bond over house chores. You are worship late, you are singing together. You are just make life easy. This love, I know that marriage can be a huge work. Yes, it's a work that God has committed into your hand. But at the same time, God has given us wisdom to make things easier for ourselves. You don't have to carry the weight of your world on your shoulder. Be kind to your partner, and it goes both ways. Let the woman be kind, let the man, like the example I just gave, just be kind. Love is super kind, and it shows that I'm compassionate and I feel this person, I'm sensitive to this person's needs. You know, sometimes you don't have to be told, help me do this. Constantly saying help me do this, help me do this is a sign that you're not even seeing your partner. You are just looking up like this. Your own is just go, provide, come back. No.
And especially for the man, the sign that you are a man is that you can take responsibility. Look at Jesus. I was watching, if you watch The Chosen, it's a series of Jesus Christ, you see that Jesus too was participating in chores. You get
what the disciples.
Now let me give two instances. Give an example of Jesus washing the feet of the disciples. It's a chore. Secondly, you might have asked yourself, what did the disciples feel, or what did they have in mind when they were saying, Master, carest thou not that we perish? Perhaps they were bailing out water. They've never seen Jesus calm the storm. So they thought, at least he would arise and
to bail water.
So for them to be able to say that, they believe that he has a track record of being of help. You get, so don't you are sleeping there. Why won't you even come out and help us? And then approach the situation.
That's the kind of leadership that a man should have.
Not just sit down and be served. The Bible says the Son of Man did not come to be served, but he came to serve and give himself for many. So being a man, the message now is more to the men. You know, our society has structured house chores more to the women. So this is just to positively skew it. So let men also be active. Show yourself as a man. Take courage in the home. It's not just doing morning devotion, leading prayer, waking everybody. Samuel, where you didn't go badra. Show yourself as a man by humbling yourself. Sometimes the man is the foundation of the home. The man might not even always be seen, but he humbles himself. Yoruba will say, "Oh, rare, you know, you humble yourself to pick these things, wash, to ensure these things are clean. When your children,
and it's your home too.
It's your home. Your wife is to help. If you are not doing the thing, then
you are preaching, sir. Your wife is what? The helper, helping, and that means you are doing something already.
Help me.
You are doing something.
You are doing something already. So your wife will just
do it in the house. I am to help you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. This has been an exciting one. I trust that God will help this to be a blessing in our families or in your relationship heading to marriage. Our relationship will be a prototype of Christ and His church in the name of Jesus. Till we see you in our next video. Bye bye. We love you.